Hello and good evening, everyone. Kyle Ryman here for tonight's daily live weather discussion for this August 14th, 2020. Happy Friday evening, everyone. We got a lot of weather to talk about right now with the tropics starting to heat up right now with our newest addition to the Atlantic, Tropical Storm Kyle, ironically, right off the coast of North Carolina, and it's continuing to move by pretty quickly. We'll talk about him in just a few seconds. We're also going to talk about Tropical Storm Josephine, who's still lingering around a little bit, and seeing what it's going to do in terms of the long term, and just talk about weather for our area for the next few days. So before I get into weather for our area, let's take a look at our newest addition to the Atlantic, Tropical Storm Kyle. We're going to actually go to the satellite just to give you a better look at the rotation that we're looking at right now. So we're going to go to infrared since the sun is starting to set on our side of the globe, and we're going to take a zoomed in look on Tropical Storm Kyle. Okay, that's weird. So I'm going to pull up another website real quick while I get this going. Not sure why I couldn't find a float. Here we go. So Tropical Storm Kyle, here we are. There he is. In all of his tropicalness. So it's moving pretty quickly right now. Earlier today, this Invest 96L was right off the coast of North Carolina, and now it is quickly picking up pace across the Atlantic as it's rotating pretty nicely. You can see that rotation right now just faintly on the infrared satellite. Let me see if I can find something that can outline that a little bit better. So we're going to go to our satellite. I'm going to see if there's a what's called a floater over Tropical Storm Kyle, and that's just basically a better zoomed in look on the storm structure. Alright, I'm going to go to Atlantic. Yes, perfect. Alright, so I'm not sure if you can see that better now, but you can definitely see some very well defined rotation down at the in just faintly, just to the southeast of Atlantic City, and then to the east-northeast of it is where the main convection and thunderstorm activity is going on right now. So that's Tropical Storm Kyle, quickly moving by our area, and it will not affect our area. I'll talk more about that in just a little bit, but we'll talk more about conditions here right now in New Jersey. Things are very beautiful outside. After that cold front has moved through. Right now, temperatures are in the lower 70s, and it's 8 o'clock right now. And the last few times we've done this live weather discussion, temperatures have been in the 80s for the most part. So it's good to see that temperatures are this cool and very comfortable across the state. And especially in my area, there's been a nice cool breeze to give us relief from the heat we've been seeing for the past few days. And especially today, too. It was a little warm and muggy overall. I can't really show you the highs. Actually, I can show you the highs for today. Temperatures peaked in the mid to upper 80s across the Garden State today. And they're going to be cooling down quite significantly overnight tonight. And we'll talk about that later on in the forecast. Wind speeds right now, again, I said there was a very nice cool breeze right where I am. I'm not sure if other places are seeing that cool breeze. At most, we're seeing 5 to 10 mile an hour winds across the Garden State, but right now it's mostly standstill like it has been for the past few days. There is a 14 mile an hour wind speed being reported at Atlantic City, so I'm not sure if this is a fluke because we've seen this value a few times, or although it could just be the onshore winds for the evening. So probably the shore is going to be the coolest right now with those onshore winds and then those very cool temperatures right now. So going back to the tropics is because that's going to be the main discussion topic of this live stream. We've had Tropical Storm Josephine hanging out in the Atlantic for the past few days. Now we have Tropical Storm Kyle to the southeast of Atlantic City, and this is the third time this season that we've had two active cyclones going at the same time. The first instance, I believe, was Tropical Storm Hannah. No, not earlier. Back earlier with Gonzalez and Faye. We're gonna actually look at the timeline real quick. Actually, it was Gonzales and Hanna was the first instance where we had two tropical cyclones going on at the same time, and then a little bit of a break in between that, and then Isaias, and then Tropical Depression 10 for a few days. So this is the third time this season we've seen two tropical storms going on, or at least tropical cyclones going on at the same time. So talking about the tropics in terms of the next few days, Josephine looking right now pretty unhealthy as it moves into unfavorable conditions, although still hanging on a little bit to some decent convection and thunderstorm activity over the Atlantic. But as I said in previous weather discussions, Josephine's going to be moving into rather unfavorable conditions over the next few days, and we'll talk about that for the majority of the live weather discussion this evening. So as we look at Tropical Storm Josephine, who's been hanging out in the Atlantic a little bit longer, ensemble models, again, the European still keeping it a very short-lived system, barely alive past the Lesser Antilles. The GFS, on the other hand, still has it going enough to make a very sharp turn to the northeast towards Bermuda, and then eventually heading off into the North Atlantic. So overall, what to expect from Josephine? It's going to be a very weak storm if it does survive these harsh conditions, and it will definitely not make any impacts for the U.S. I can't say the same for Bermuda over the next few days, and we'll look at the National Hurricane Center cone and the key messages that they are saying. So they're saying they should, everyone should keep an eye on Tropical Storm Josephine over the next few days, and rightly so, because right now it wasn't really forecasted for Josephine to get this far into these unfavorable conditions, but they're forecasting it into next week to go right over Bermuda as a tropical depression. So what that's going to do is bring heavy rainfall and some tropical depression force winds at the least. So we're going to have to keep watching this if you're over living on Bermuda right now. In terms of the eastern U.S., you shouldn't really see anything from Josephine over the next few days. Now, as we take a look at our new storm, Tropical Storm Kyle, on the other hand, is going to be a little bit interesting to forecast, because right now, sea surface temperatures right over Kyle are very, very warm, especially for this time of the year as well. So as you can see right here, too much zoom. Alright, so over our area where Tropical Storm Kyle is very warmer than usual sea surface temperatures right now. So Kyle's going to be taking advantage of that over the next few days. It will not likely turn into a hurricane over the next few days, just because seeing a hurricane that far north is unusual, but it's not unheard of. There's been a few instances where a hurricane has gone as far north as the UK in one instance. It's 1966, I believe, was Hurricane Faith. Took a very nice long trek up to the North Atlantic and parts of even the Arctic as well. So again, it's not unheard of for a tropical cyclone to go this far north over the next few days. But in terms of right now with our conditions for Tropical Storm Kyle, we'll take a look at all the models and see what they're saying over the next few days. So here is, we're going to go to our vorticity product, and that's going to show us more accurately where the center of the rotation is for these tropical cyclones. So as we look right now, we're going to go to right now 8 o'clock. So here's our Tropical Storm Kyle to the southeast of New Jersey, and then Tropical Storm Josephine still hanging on in the western Atlantic. And over the next few days, Josephine will be fading out over the next few days. Probably still be lingering around as a tropical depression, but it will significantly weaken due to very unfavorable conditions. And I'll talk about that in just a second. But Tropical Storm Kyle, on the other hand, because of those very warm sea surface temperatures, we're taking a look at Kyle intensifying a little bit over the next few days as it moves northeast over the Atlantic. But it will not likely turn into a hurricane going forward, just because it's very high latitude in terms of its location. Now, right behind Tropical Storm Kyle, it looks like we do have a little bit of another area of interest to watch out for that may follow in Kyle's footsteps. The National Hurricane Center has not acknowledged this area yet just because it is still very far out. This is looking into next week, so we're going to have to watch this area in particular because this could be another tropical depression, tropical storm that follows right behind Tropical Storm Kyle. And we'll take a better look at this with this website that I like to use from time and time again. It's called windy.com. It'll show you the wind particles moving within the atmosphere. So right now this is the higher up in the atmosphere, about 5,500 meters in the atmosphere to be specific. And we're going to go to right now. Here's our Tropical Storm Kyle. Actually, we'll move up a little bit higher just to get a better idea of how it is looking. We're going to play around with this just a tad. We're actually going to go to 850, which is actually close to the surface. So here's our Tropical Storm Kyle, 1,008 millibars. So in the area of a tropical storm strength cyclone, and then just to our south again is Tropical Storm Josephine still hanging on. That circulation, it looks like it's opening up right now as it moves into this area of drier air and heavier wind shear over the next few days. So that's the reason why we're looking at Josephine to weaken over the next few days. But besides that, Tropical Storm Kyle here again, and then over the next few days, you're just going to take a look over the Virginia, North Carolina area. Tropical Storm Kyle moves out to sea rather quickly over the next few days. Will be intensifying, but not to hurricane strength over the next few days. And then right here we get this low pressure from a cold front that we're going to be seeing this weekend going into the start of next week. And that could potentially turn into our next tropical cyclone as it moves out. Quite similar situation to how Tropical Storm Kyle formed, and even looking further into the start of the season, Tropical Storm Dolly formed in a similar scenario where it formed off of a old cold front to the southeast, and then eventually rapidly intensified to become a tropical cyclone, despite forecasts considering it to fade out over the next few days. And just because it was over cooler waters and conditions weren't really there for a tropical cyclone during that time of the year, especially that far north as well. So here we have Tropical Storm Kyle, could intensify into a strong tropical cyclone over the next few days, but not likely into a hurricane, as I said. And then here's our another straggler that comes right off the coast of North Carolina over the next few days. This one looks a little bit closer to our area over the forecast period. So we'll have to watch this area in particular for our region, just because it approaches very closely to our area. So that's what we're looking at in terms of the next few days with the tropics, with Tropical Storm Kyle and Josephine. And as we look back at what's going on right now, there is another area that really isn't much concern, but it is quite interesting to look at on satellite and radar. It's this tropical wave that's kind of just hung out across the western Atlantic coast. So in past updates, discussions rather, there's been this tropical wave with a lot of thunderstorm activity. There's that tropical wave right now, and here's another one setting up right across Africa right now. And the reason why there's a lot of thunderstorm and just overall activity over this area is because the African monsoon is in a active phase. It's in its wet phase right now, so it's going to be pumping out tropical waves over the next few weeks, especially with the start of the peak of the season coming up soon. This is going to be a big key factor in terms of how quickly we see tropical cyclones develop, especially in this area, where it's been known for very strong hurricanes to come out of this area due to the amount of time it has over the very warm Atlantic Ocean in this area. So we're going to have to watch this little bit of disturbance, convection over the next few days could become the next tropical cyclone. I can't really say that for certain, but I can say for certain we'll have to watch this area of low pressure that's going to come off the Carolina coast over the next few days into next week. And then going back to our models yet again, I mentioned with Josephine in past discussions that two main factors are going to be hindering it over the next few days, and that's dry air and a lot of wind shear. The wind shear is going to really tear it up, and then the dry air is going to choke it out of moisture over the next few days. So we're going to go back to right now with Tropical Storm Josephine. Here it is in that small red dot is where the center is. And over the next few days, we see this bit of dry air over Josephine. You can see Josephine actually in this bluish-greenish area just to the northeast of the Western Antilles. And then right ahead of it is this area of dry air that's going to choke it out over the next few days. And another concern with Josephine is the amount of wind shear that is present. So right now, Josephine is in this area of calmer wind shear, and just ahead of it is rather intense wind shear coming from the west. And that's going to be tearing it up over the next few days, and that's the reason we're going to be seeing it weaken into a tropical depression over the next few days. And as we go further, it does appear to break out of that little bit of shear and dry air over the next few days. And we'll look at just humidity again for a second. Here's our tropical storm breaking out of that slot of dry air. So again, it is going to weaken significantly over the next few days, but Bermuda should be watching over the next few days because it still could get heavy amounts of rainfall and heavy wind gusts looking into Wednesday. So that's what we're looking at for the tropics right now. Our main focus is Kyle and Josephine. Even though no U.S. impacts are expected with the two of them, they are the two active cyclones that are going on right now in the Atlantic, and then that one low pressure that's going to be swinging out next week. We're going to have to watch that in terms of tropical development. And now, speaking of our area with that low pressure, we're going to be looking at a kind of a break from all of the disturbed weather we've been seeing over the next few days. But unfortunately, to the west in the western U.S., a high-pressure ridge is going to be dominating over the next few days for the next week. And what that means for our area is we're going to be seeing this trough, this general area of low pressure over our area. And so what that means is we're going to be seeing cooler temperatures for sure for next week. Definitely won't be seeing highs in the 80s for next week. It could be even lower than that. So it won't be anything like winter or fall, but it'll definitely be a cool relief from the heat we've been seeing from the past few days, and the mugginess as well. That's another thing that we're going to be seeing in terms of next week. It's going to be a lot drier than what we've been seeing over the next few days. So if you like cooler, drier air, this is going to be your day of the your time of the week to do your things and enjoy the weather. But unfortunately, a third thing to watch out for with this general area of low pressure over our area is disturbed weather, and that's going to entail scattered showers, possibly thunderstorms for next week. It's too far out to definitively say if we'll get any severe weather, but showers and rain are definitely some things we'll have to look for in the forecast for next week. So over the next few days next week, we're going to be seeing this high pressure area over the western U.S., and that's going to translate into our area cooler, drier weather with some chances of rain throughout next week. And then over looking in the long term after that, it does look like, actually, on a side note, a very intense tropical cyclone develops in the eastern Pacific in this area. And you could tell just by how closely stacked these isobar rings are. Actually, not isobar rings. The decameter rings are, and that's just pressure within the atmosphere. So just these tight rings alone tell you that there's going to be a tropical cyclone, a very powerful tropical cyclone in this area, possibly over the next few days. But here again, that's going to be moving out northwest like most tropical cyclones do. But going back to our area for the forecast, that high pressure ridge will eventually break up over the next few days and then start heading our way, but not before we get a low pressure that will swing from the northwest into our area and bring a cold front for Tuesday and Wednesday. And that's that low pressure area that we're watching for to follow in the footsteps of Tropical Storm Kyle over the next 2 days. And we'll look at the atmospheric pressure just to show you where that low pressure is exactly. So we're looking at Wednesday, if it can load. Oh, wait, I think I saw it right there. Okay, so, alright, so here's our Tropical Storm Kyle, just to the east of the northeast, moving out rather quickly, and then right behind that is another area, again, that other area that we're going to be watching for come out of the Carolinas, and that's our low pressure cold front that's going to be swinging through and potentially developing tropical characteristics over the next few days. And we'll take a look at the Weather Prediction Center as well and see what their forecast is in terms of where the front is going to set up over the next few days. So we're going to go to the front's forecast. Here's right now, again, Tropical Storm Kyle hanging right by that stationary front that's still dragging down to the south. That'll clear the area over the next few days. And then looking into the end of the weekend, starting Monday, here's that low pressure that's going to be moving out to sea over the next few days. And that's going to bring us a chance for rain and thunderstorms for Sunday going into Monday. And then Tuesday, it looks like that low pressure fully moves out and it could develop tropical characteristics depending on how things are well favorable for it then. Just basing this off of Tropical Storm Kyle, this is likely to become the next tropical cyclone, in my opinion, over the next few days. So we'll have to watch this area, and it could just burn through another name before the peak of the season. So in the next name scheme, the list of names would be the L name. I believe I've forgotten the name already. We're going to actually do a little bit of a name check right now. I'm going to check our name real quick. Laura. That's not really a memorable name. So if it does become the next tropical storm, it will acquire the name Laura. So, and looking at the names so far we've used through the season, we've been burning through these names rather quickly. Tropical Storm Kyle, if I'm not sure if you saw in my last post, just became the record earliest K-name storm in history, beating out Hurricane Katrina's formation time by 10 days. And that looks like that's been the overall trend for this season. We've been getting these tropical storms to form rather quickly but not really develop into anything. But at the most, they've been shattering records for the Atlantic. So we're going to be continuing to look at that trend going forward as we move into the peak of the season, and definitely still a possibility we could go into the Greek alphabet. So that would be alpha, beta, gamma, delta, etc. So that's what we're looking at for the tropics over the next few days. Now, in terms of our area for the next few days, giving a final look at things, again, things are going to be much cooler over the next few days than what we've been seeing. We will get a little bit of a break this weekend in terms of rain and thunderstorms. It will not be as active as it has been the past few days. And we'll take a look at a regional model to get a better idea of what we'll expect in terms of precipitation and also temperatures across the state as well. So we're going to go to the northeast for our showers. And we're going to go to, here we go, simulated radar. So again, I featured this particular model product on my, not only my live weather discussions, but also for just forecasting in general with my graphics. This gives us a general idea of what we'll see on radar over the next few days, and that will entail if we see pop-up thunderstorms or scattered showers or etc. So looking at the next few days, very small chance of scattered showers this weekend, but they're pretty much negligible in terms of how they're going to impact our area. So looking at Saturday into Sunday, get a little bit of a break from the rain, and then that looks like we get a little bit of rain moving into our area from the southwest. It looks like Saturday into Sunday. We'll take a look at that further. It actually breaks up a little bit before really hitting our area Monday. So that's that low pressure area that we're watching for over the next few days, bringing that cold front from the northwest. So this low pressure could actually get pretty close to our area. But here again, this isn't really showing where the low pressure is centered. It's just showing where the rain is really going to be. So if I had to guess where the low pressure is going to be centered, it's going to be more towards the Virginia, North Carolina border, and just kind of straggling along in the same path that Tropical Storm Kyle's doing right now. So again, we're going to be getting a little bit of a break from rain this weekend, and then starting Monday, we'll see our next chance of big rain and some possible thunderstorms for the day on Monday. And now looking at temperatures over the next few days, again, things are going to be very, very cool, and we'll just give you a better look at how cool things are going to be over the next few days. We're going to go to our state and then look at temperatures. So again, things will be cooling down significantly over the next few days, and especially for next week as well, as that pattern over the U.S. will begin to set up. Things tonight in terms of temperature will be cooling down very much so. Temperatures will be in the mid 60s to lower 70s for the upper limit. So things will be very, very cool tonight. Nice light cool breeze will definitely be present throughout the night. And then as we go further into the forecast, tomorrow temperatures only spiking up into the lower 80s for tomorrow. So definitely a noticeable difference in terms of heat and mugginess from the past few days. And then tomorrow night, what we're looking at is even cooler temperatures, with temperatures getting as low as the almost lower 60s. I see 63s up in northwest New Jersey and Sussex County, to be specific. So looking at almost lower 60s to upper 60s for tomorrow night, and then going from there, it's just going to get cooler from there. Throughout the day on Monday, things will be very, very cool, with highs in the mid 70s. So that's a noticeable drop down over the next few days in terms of temperature. And then from there, we could see, doesn't really go out that far, but there is a possibility of seeing a upper 50 degree low in High Point State Park in Sussex County. Can't really say that for certain right now, but it looks like it's going to be a possibility, as temperatures don't even reach 5 a.m. is usually when we usually see our coolest temperatures, right before sunrise, and temperatures are just dropping on Monday going into Tuesday. So we'll have to watch that, and we'll give a better look for that in our weekly outlook. That's all the weather I have to talk about for tonight. We'll definitely be continuing to look at Tropical Storm Kyle and Josephine over the next few days, and then that low pressure that's going to be swinging by close to our area over the next few days. So make sure to look out for our weekly outlook on Sunday for this weekend. I'm going to be doing a quick update on the tropics in just a few minutes, so make sure to look out for that post, and it'll be a little more detailed in terms of what to expect with the tropics over the next few days. And also expect your daily forecast for the day tomorrow. Give you a better picture of how that day is going to go, and how cool things are going to be over the next few days. So that'll wrap up our weather discussion for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to like all the posts that you see and share with all your friends. Get Soaring Weather out there. It's I really love to talk about the weather and forecast for the weather, and it's just a really good passion of mine, and I love sharing the weather with you guys. So definitely share this with all your friends, family, and etc. So that'll end it for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a good night and be safe.